Okay, so I'm going to give y'all a quick rundown. Peace, love, light reflections. Peace, love, light to the gods and goddesses across planet Ka. But we about to get down to the basics, and not the basics, but what the fuck is equality? And why has equality never existed, right? Equality was never meant to be fully applied, only proclaimed, while power and privilege were preserved. That same pattern continues today. Equality is spoken, not enforced, because true equality would require dismantling systems that benefit inequality. Equality never existed by me. What is equality, right? According to Google, the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities, right? It's a noun, right? According to Google. This is Google and AI research, y'all. So I'm pulling research from everywhere, y'all. So, but we're all trying to get down to one simple thing. We're trying to get to the root of the fucking problem, right? So we're gonna find everything we fucking can, right? Not just to prove, but to show you what the fuck the problem is, y'all. So, equal rights. The same legal rights and civil liberties apply to everyone, right? Equal treatment under the law. Laws and policies are applied consistently and impartially. Equal opportunity. Access to education, employment, healthcare, and participation in society is not restricted by arbitrary factors such as race, gender, religion, or socioeconomic. If I'm saying that right, socioeconomic. You know how I am with my motherfucking words, but fuck it. Background, right? Human dignity. Every individual is recognized as having inherent worth. Equality versus equity. Important distinction right here is a big difference. Equality means giving everyone the same resources or treatment. Equity means allocating resources or support based on differing needs to achieve comparable outcomes. Okay. Why equality is failing? Structural and economic factors. Gender and racial inequality are perpetrated by the gender pay gap, lack of representation in leadership, and unequal distribution of unpaid care work. Furthermore, a quote race to the bottom end quote in taxing the wealthy has allowed immense wealth to accumulate among a few, increasing global economic disparity. Systemic bias and implementation. Even with legal frameworks, equality initiatives often fail due to inadequate enforcement, lack of quality, a lack of resources, and implicit biases, right? Again, lack of quality. Individual differences in freedom, as noted by F.A. Hayek, enforcing absolute material equality can conflict with individual freedom and equality before the law, as people make different choices with their resources. Psychological and social factors. Humans often default to favoring their own group in group bias and perceive resources as zero sum, right? Where one group's gain is viewed as another's loss. Cultural practices. Deep-seated social norms and traditional roles frequently impede gender equality, particularly in areas with limited exposure to diverse perspectives, right? Equality, the etymological roots, right? comes from Latin roots, right? Stemming from aqueous, equus, right? The meaning is like even, level, fair. That was the original Latin root meaning of equality. The original word in Latin language for equality is equus or aquus, right? So this is the original word before the modern English, how everything came to now, the modern day English, right? And equalitas, right, means equality, similarity, right? So keep up with me. My bad if you know what I mean, reading too fast, but get your notebook out, get your pen, shit, roll up a blunt, pour you up some shit, follow along and write down some of this shit. Pause the video and screenshot. Entering English via Old French. Equality, right? Equality, right? Around the 14th century to mean, quote, evenness, end quote, later developing senses for numerical rank and opportunity parity, right? Ultimately describing sameness or equivalence in status, value, or rights. All right, so you can take a screenshot of this. This is the etymological roots, right? So keep it with me. I can't pronounce every motherfucking word out there. So, right, what is a hypocrite? A person who claims to have certain moral standards, beliefs, or values, but behaves in ways that contradict them, right? According to Google, a hypocrite is a person who indulges in hypocrisy, right? But they ain't gonna tell you much about hypocrisy. Like, that ain't no damn definition. You telling us what we asking for the definition, Google. You gonna tell us the definition with the word hypocrite. You know what I mean? So it don't make any sense. So the word, like, for example, the story tells a respectable Ben who turns out to be a cheat and a hypocrite. That's not a good definition, Google. So let's help him out. A person who claims to have a certain moral standards, beliefs, or values, but behaves in ways that contradict them. A hypocrite is a type of liar. But more specifically, they are people who claim to have certain moral standards or beliefs, but act in ways that contradict them. Essentially, quote, lying, end quote, about their true character or intentions by presenting a false, virtuous image, often involving double standards, right? Equality is failing due to hypocrisy. Who acknowledged the term of equality rights, right? Equality has been acknowledged by key philosophers and historical figures, right? But most notably by Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration of Independence, stating, quote, all men should be equal, end quote, in 1776. Although he wasn't the first to acknowledge equality, right? Original intent. The Declaration was primarily intended to justify the American colonists' right to self-government rather than to establish immediate individual equality. So it's all a selfish motherfucking game, y'all. That's all it is. Jefferson was a slaveholder. Raise those windows. Jefferson was a slaveholder that drafted the Declaration while simultaneously violating the principle in his personal life, right? Thomas Jefferson was the third U.S. president. is most famous for authoring the Declaration of Independence, articulating foundational American ideals like liberty and equality. He was, right? He was, or he forever will be, within his, deep down his motherfucking soul, right? A lifelong slave owner, holding over 600 enslaved people during his life, despite writing that slavery was an abominable crime and working towards its end, right? He was a fraud, a scammer, a liar, never did shit for the people. Look at today's world. A nasty man. He had a long relationship with Sally Hemings, right? An enslaved woman who was his wife's half-sister. Damn. Fathering at least 6 children with her. Shit. Your wife's half-sister? Damn. He was a selfish. He freed only a few enslaved people in his lifetime and will. Mostly Hemings, right? His wife's half-sister. Family members, while others were sold after his death to settle debts, right? To settle debts. So this is how you know that in their eyes, life was never valuable. Shit just sounded good to us. You know what I mean? Shit just sounded nice, but this was the reason right here, the original intent. The Declaration was primarily intended to justify the American colonists' right to self-government, rather than to establish immediate individual equality, right? I'm gonna tell you who really acknowledged this shit, right? Fuck all these niggas though. John Locke, 1632 through 1704. A English philosopher argued for the natural and original equality of all human beings, stating that education creates differences, right? So even people back in the day, even people back in the 1700s and 1600s and way before that, people even knew education is a motherfucking illness. Education is motherfucking... The education system is a motherfucking slavery. It's a mental slavery system. That's all it is. It's a mental matrix. So you gotta learn numbers, you know what I mean, to even live life and fucking live shit. To even eat and breathe, right? So you gotta remember that education is poison. So it creates differences. Education creates separation and division. That's all it is, y'all. Your whole life you were taught to sit still and be quiet. You cannot use the restroom when you want to. You are always under control and oppression no matter what. And you were taught that as a kid. So that when you get older and you build up that, you know what I mean, that mental trauma, which they won't call it trauma, that's really trauma because now you feel like you're afraid of every motherfucking adult, right? You can't be yourself around any adult, right? Nigga, we discipline our motherfucking selves, nigga. We know from right or wrong, nigga. He is best known as a founder of modern liberalism, right? The modern liberalism bullshit today. Political bullshit, right? Famous for his theories on natural rights. His 3 principles were life, liberty, and property, right? Because life is valuable. Freedom is valuable. Freedom is everything, y'all. And property should never be took. Property and land should never be stolen to be oppressed. Right? To oppress the indigenous and make them slaves. It's not equal. Right? Natural equality. All people are naturally free and equal, possessing the same rights to life, liberty, and property. Rule of law. Government must govern by established settled laws, not temporary or arbitrary decrees. No arbitrary power. Authority is limited to protecting the public good and individual rights. When law ends, tyranny begins. Equality of jurisdiction. In the state of nature, no one has dominion over another. And this principle of reciprocal power should transition into the legal system, right? And this principle of reciprocal power should transition in this legal system. Consent of the governed. Government authority is derived from a social contract, meaning laws must be enacted with the consent of the people to be considered legitimate, right? Boom. John Locke. And this is way before Thomas Jefferson. So equality been a motherfucking problem. It'll never be solved until we all see, until we all wake up, right? And just to end it off, equality, no slavery. More equality, no slavery. If we were all equal, we wouldn't be slaves. So the people are hypocrites trying to tell us we're all equal, right? You know what I mean? There is no equality, and this is just to wake you up to see through what's really going on, y'all. This shit get deeper than you think. You really gotta wake yourself up, because no one's coming to save you and no one's going to help you. No truth is outside of you, and this is all within. You gotta ask yourself, y'all, is this shit really fucking real? Right? Yes, this shit is motherfucking real, but it's also fake, because there's no such thing as true and fake. Everything is just the present moment, y'all. Everything is the truth is your perception. The way you view things is your fucking truth, y'all. That's your Bible, right? No one can tell you right or wrong, y'all. But these motherfuckers can, right? We gotta put a stop to that, nigga. That ain't equal. There's no equal if there's a system out here that is unequal. So there's no equality until the system is down, until everybody is free, until everybody is not obliged to fucking do something, right? We have a voice, we have a body, we have life, we have a consciousness, and there's no reason, if somebody is equal as us with a consciousness and got skin color and nails and hair and everything, there's no reason that they should be controlling us, right? But there's always a motherfucking reason, and there's a reason, right? The reason I say that is because we're done letting niggas walk over us. Today we wake up, and the more we raise the vibration within us and raise the frequency within us, this is how we take down the motherfucking system. Because nobody that says we are equal is going to be in the higher ups and control and oppress everyone. That's not what we doing, y'all. And you not finna tell y'all, it ain't Freemasons. Yeah, it could be. It ain't the Illuminati, nigga. We talking about the higher ups. The motherfuckers playing with magic. Doing spells and shit, y'all. Right? Physical slavery. Historically turned chattel slavery, and now largely known as forced labor, is the coercive control and ownership of a person through physical violence, threats, and restriction of movement for economic or sexual exploitation. Victims are often branded, shackled, or forced into dangerous labor, enduring severe physical abuse, and in modern context, trafficking. It never motherfucking ended. Slavery never ended, and equality never started. So it's about time that we do something. Because just because there ain't no physical slavery right now, we are still forced to do shit mentally, right? This is a psychological game, because you got to realize that psychological and social factors, Humans often default to favoring their own group and group bias and perceive resources as zero-sum, where one group's gain is viewed as another's loss. These motherfuckers just benefiting themselves, not giving them a fuck about you, not giving a fuck about the divine. But that motherfucking money, nigga, and your energy. Right? So this is why I say, let's raise the vibration with deep within and let's bring it out. So it don't have to be deep. You are a high vibrational human being. You are a high vibrational being. And if you are, to my melanated gods and goddesses, you are a high vibrational non-ether being, y'all. So peace, love, light to my gods and goddesses, and to all my star seeds and all my people out there, man. All reflections, you know what I mean? So peace, love, light. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I gotta get up out of here. Peace, peace.